Gear Chronicle. Oh god, don't stop! Yeah, Gear Chronicle. So what's up everyone, today we are going to be doing something that I should have done literally forever ago as the Gear Chronicle player since day one that hasn't really talked about Gear Chronicle much since Standard. And that is an honest to god actual premium Gear Chronicle deck. Before we get started, nice little disclaimer that my locals actually doesn't really have a premium scene, so besides a few games here and there, I generally have no clue what I'm talking about. Make sure to roast me in the comments below. But from the sheer insanity of my mind palace, I figured out one thing from one of my favorite recent decks in Standard. You guys may know how I am with the Direful Dolls hashtag Yearmoon Circus. But that is, apparently, if you literally take the core of Nightmare Dolls and slap a Gear Chronicle G-Zone on it, I might just be the sauce. Honestly, from the few test games I've done, from the few premium players I know, it actually slaps. So today I'm pleased to present the true form of the Yearmoon Circus. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. You already know what I'm gonna say. Hey guys, Future Jared here. So real quick note before we get started. A couple of new dolls were revealed in between me recording and editing this video. And yeah, they slap. One of them is amazing. She fixes a lot of the issues that the deck had. And yeah, she has a really cute hat and the big rocket hammer, so we vibe that. Anyways, we'll talk about the more in detail in a future update video for the proper standard format. But for now, let's dive on back into some premium now, shall we? So to start things off, it makes me so happy to bring back my best friend, Chrono Jet. The prodigal son has in fact returned. I know I should just probably run the Direful Doll starter in this because soul matters for Direful Dolls, especially for Angel's ability, but you know what, I don't care. We'll use any Quick Shield one because Quick Shields are good and there aren't really any other Direful Doll starters for the game, so. Chrono Jet, shut up, I have an SP and I have these been so freaking long. Quick Shields, as you may know, are basically just free card in hand that's a 5k shield if you go second. When you ride over it, basically end of the starter. And we got two of them down in this format, one coming off of the starting Vanguard itself, and another off of the Messiah Stride. Stop there, not. So wherever I put my Dimension Police deck, that's where I have my Messiah right now. But that basically gives you a fancy quick shield and maybe some other effects I generally don't know. Real quick recap on the strat though, if you guys did not know about Android and his friends. Android is a grade 3 unit that says that you have the ability to call as many cards from your soul as your opponent's current grade. And if you call at least 3 cards, then you get a free drive check. It's really good because it helps you of course fill the field out of nothing. So if you go first, you're able to call 2 cards out of soul, 1 strat grade 3, 3, 4, so on and so forth. I mean, most of the time it's going to be a 3 unless just randomly on a grade 4 Vanguard that's not a stride. And as that bonus, when you do call those 3 cards, you get the 3rd drive check. So you basically have a triple driving Vanguard without striding, which is always great because in this format, you don't want to touch your G-Zone, but if you don't have your G-Zone ready or just don't have the stride fodder, I guess, you still triple driving. You still get that same card advantage as you would for striding. Solid there. Also, secondary ability that you can guard with cards from your Bizo with the Direful Doll name with an added shield. So really good there. I'm not hinting at all at the fact that this deck interacts with the Bind Zone a lot because it does, and half of your Stride Zone does, but we're gonna get to that in a second. Angel, he's the boy. Other cards that we run for Direfuls, we got the waifu. Freaking love Liberata, she will always be one of my favorites. Another grade 3 units, this one has 2 abilities, being that when she's placed on guard or rear guard, you can take one of your cards from drop stone with Direful Doll, shove it back in soul, so it helps recycle get your engine ready and gives you targets ready for Angel. And then as a plus 10k attacker for no reason, after she attacks, she binds herself, which once again sets up the guard skill off Angel, and even though she's a grade 3, she's still a little bit of shield from that. In general, just a really good looping card. Just gonna preview real quick. This is a grade 4 that we were on, this is the stride that we were on. This is a grade 3. We'll talk about you in a second. Then for another 2 cards that take your drops and put it back in soul, we run 3 copies of this chick, who after she boosts takes 2 from your drop, shoves them back in. And a new set 2 card I haven't going to talk about here yet. We have Shelby, who is a giant that looks like Haru, and thus is Best Girl. Real quick overview on Shelby's effect before I do a proper standard update. She basically has 2 skills that both rely on your opponent being grade 3. First of all, when she attacks, you can take a card from drop stone, shove it in soul, like I just said. Based on that card's grade, she's going to get 5k power for each grade. So if you hit a grade 2, that's another 10k, make her 20k. Grade 1's 5, grade 3, so on and so forth. And if you happen to hit, just retire a card so you get some control in there. Really solid. These are both free effects, and of course she does bind herself just like any good Direful doll does. Then rounding off our Direful doll engine, we do awkwardly run some of the ride line, being 2 of the grade 1 and 3 of the grade 2. The grade 2 is probably the more important one because when she's placed, you're able to soul charge a doll from hand, give herself in the Vanguard plus 5k, thus giving you power-ups a little bit of early game if you need it, and well, it's really good if you do have to ride on it. Unfortunately, it's not standard, so you're not guaranteed a ride line, but I mean, that just makes her your optimal ride target, so. Unfortunately, this is one of the only Direful doll cards that does not bind itself afterwards, but I mean, you can just like time leap it and stuff. This is Gear Chronicle, we time leap things. Only ran 2 of the grade 1 space issues. I was messing around with this in Pelagia a little bit, just trying to figure out the ratios. Ultimately, I decided on 2 here just because she is going to be a 13k attacker / booster that binds herself, so it gives you a little bit of power for thresholds and just goes to the over there zone. Yay, you're doing their thing. If you do have to ride her though, if this is your grade 1 ride by some way, shape, or form, it's a really strong ability that you just ride over here, check your top 7, soul charge 2 Direful dolls. Solid. Well, unfortunately, this deck is going to be a little less inconsistent than it is in standard because we lose our energy blasting, multi-attacking grade 2, and of course, non-Direful doll cards. Being a premium deck does make up for it because we have access to a giant card pool. For this, I am taking in 1 copy of the grade 4 Leru, the Guardian one, who basically says that you can pay either a G-Guard cost of discarding a heal trigger to guard with her when she's in the drop zone, or you can just normal guard with her and be a 25k shield. Really good there, being a 25k shield, guarding 38 is very nice because it gets over, what, like 1 stage of a drive checking stride or whatever. But the cool thing about this is that when you play her, you're able to take one of your cards in your bind zone or your drop zone and shove it back in deck. So this is going to help your cycles go a little bit, and after that she binds herself. Unfortunately not a Direful doll, of course, but I mean, it does fill your bind zone for things that you want your bind zone for. Doggo! I love dogs. You guys know that. Coney's taking a nap over there right now. This is our stride fodder of choice. We're running 3 copies of it. Basically, each of these guys say that when you play it, you're able to reveal a grade 3 or greater from your hand. Search your deck for any grade 3 at the hand and discard cards equaling grade 3 or greater. So basically, traditional stride fodder ability. Of course, you can do things that with like the Leru. You can do it with your Liberata or Boiler's a heal trigger. Obviously, we run at least one of the heal Guardian. Yeah, just consistency, really, really good. And of course, you discard it for the stride cost itself. Staple, you just always run dogs. It's a good dog. It's such a good dog. Literally, look at this flavor text right here. Just waits for the owner's return. Now let's talk about heal triggers. Here's a good heal trigger, not the one you thought I was going to talk about first. We got Hamper. This is one of the traditional cycle ones that basically when you G-Guard with it, you're able to take another kill trigger in your drop zone and bind it along with itself, and then you get a choice of either a counter charge or a soul charge. Really good resource cycling, and I mean bind zone. Spoilers, I obviously run the Direful doll heal trigger at some point in time because it's a free shield with handle effect. Plus the Zodiac Time Beast. We represent ZTB in this nation. Then one of our other new premium tools that's a staple and everything, we have the grade 2 cycler itself. What's your name? Steam Scholar Alanar. Just like all the grade 2 cyclers, you're able to discard from your hand at the beginning of your ride phase if you're at grade 1 or lower, to check your top 5 for a grade 2 or lower and add to your hand before riding. So this basically helps you fix your ride line if you like have something suboptimal in your hand, or even if you don't even have your grade 1 ride, whatever. Obviously, best boy if you do run the Crest Jet deck, which I do need to do a variant of. So like, if you want to see my take on Crest Jet Premium, make sure to comment down below. But just like a really solid 4-up just for that ability. However, it's got another skill right here. Another once per turn, when he be attacking and boosted while you've got a guy behind him, you can choose one of your other rear guards. Send it back to bomb deck, call a card that's 1 grade higher than that card. That's right, we got the pseudo leap, the, I guess, V-leap, best way to phrase it. It's like the not time leap, multi-attack chain, whatever you want to call it. The important part is this is an attack extender. You can do all sorts of shenanigans with it to get more attacks off and send like triggers back to deck, or just pump up to get to like the right grade to activate your next skill or whatever. And this does tutor out basically any combo piece you want. Really solid 4-of. I'm glad these were like 50 cents a piece when I picked them up. Moving back to the Direful doll engine, we run 2 of the Witch. It's basically in here because you're able to bind triggers from Soul to give her power up. So she's an ATK booster / attacker. Really good because of course we do run Direful doll triggers. So get power boost, make her a big booty, and then you give yourself big guard for Android for defensive. We only have her for 2 because they're just better things to tech. This is just kind of a win more, like sets up your engine a little bit. I'm not going to show you perfect guards, they're just in the deck profile down below, just because I didn't switch out the Arlems for the profile, and I'm literally proxying a freaking Protect gift as the Elementaria. I mean, I only have so many Elementarias, and we gotta rotate in between decks. Trigger lineup, over trigger, I mean, I guess we could probably run a couple different over triggers in the deck, like the purple one for Time Leap or whatever. But I mean, Dark State one's just so good. If you don't have a reason not to run it, you have to freaking run. Give yourself a crit forever. Like I already alluded to, for the heal triggers, besides our hamster, we run one copy of the Heal Guard. It's our standard grade 3 10k attack, 15k shield that lets you either reduce a crit by 1 or give yourself a plus 10 till end of turn. Use it how you want it. I mean, they're good. I just only have it for one here because we do run specific heal triggers. Like the Direful Doll heal trigger, same reasoning I have for all the Android stuff. Is just, it's in the bind zone, it's a 20k shield. That's basically a weak G guard on its own. And then the rest of it, yeah, we run in crits. I have 3 copies of the Stride Fodder crit, just discarded to Stride basically. For Direful Doll, it's the Direful Doll. I shouldn't have to keep on repeating myself on why these are so essential, because you can just bind them and then have a 20k shield off them. And round things off, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. I was kind of just rotating stuff from standard to premium just to have this deck complete or whatever. But this just to go to Soul plus 2k. I mean, Soul sometimes matters, but not really in this build too much. And I mean, the 2k doesn't matter too much, so like you probably just use other special crits that give you power and draw or whatever. I don't know. I just had these ready, so I'm just putting them in here. Plus the Gear Chronicle, look at this. Freaking love Steam Deviate. But that's just the main deck. What would a premium deck be without a G-Zone? Alright, so we're gonna start things off nice and simple. Yeah, best girl. This is the reason that Steam mains were so good for a while. B premium version that just slaps in a G zone and you're just like, oh, get multi-attack, bind stuff, call stuff out of bind zone, do a blah blah blah. It's like a really weird timely build, but essentially we got 2 different abilities. The second one I kind of went over already when I talked about my waifu, and that is basically at the end of a battle that grade 3 rearguard attack, you're able to last one, find that rearguard. Here she is from the G zone. There's another attack. So that's the attack extender right there. Obviously, like I said, best friends with Liberata just because you're going to be able to bind her for free, get her next to attacker. Liberata is already ready to activate her skill, give you a 5k shield, and put your card back in soul. Solid enough on its own. Liberata kind of does it on her own, but shut up, we have a way to combo off it now. And then her main ability, which you're not always necessarily going to be using. Once again, this is mostly a first turn flip target just so you have your engine ready. Really cool thing I found about this G-Zone is you have a lot of options. Big brain, premium. That's what I love about the format. I really wish I could just play some more premium. Is this what it's like to be a premium player? Once per turn when it attacks, you bind a front row rear guard and flip a card in your G-Zone face up. When you do that, you can take 2 cards from your bind zone, call them to rear guard, and your front row gets plus 10 until end of turn. Once again, attack extending, just on its own here, you essentially get a 5 attack turn, rear guard, swing band skill, bind to blind, call 2 new rear guards from the bind zone, rear guard. 5 swings right there for basically cost of flipping up something in G-Zone, which that's not a cost. If you know premium at all, you know that you want your G-Zone to have some of the cards up. Of course, what you can do is you have 2 copies of her, use the one, use her skill, and then flip up the other one with her skill. So you go rear guard, swing Vanguard, rear guard. One of those rear guards is a grade 3, don't worry about it. Use the second skill, get another attack for 6 attacks for the cost of just having 2 of these cards. Really good. Of course, like I said, does set up. I'm not gonna say that we're saying a bind zone with every single card because I don't need to repeat. I don't need to be a horse with a dead horse. Andrew just likes having his girls in bind zone, and there's a lot of ways that the G-Zone interacts with that. Like this guy. You get multi Vanguard swing attack. When he attacks, you pay the cost. What's the cost? Just counterblast 1, bind 4 of your rear guards, superior ride a grade 3 from your deck, get strat -1. I mean, you do the strat with this for like restanding decks to Chrono Jet or whatever, so you can just be like, oh, wee, be a Chrono Jet and you get Garter Trick because you're cool like that. I wish you could Persona ride in the middle of battle phase. That'd be so cool. Theoretically, you're gonna be on a thing. This is another attack corrector, of course. If you, by some odd way, shape, or form, have to ride into Liberata because you weren't able to correct yourself in the first few turns, this could just re-ride into your Android and set yourself up, bind 4 cards, get an extra drive check, get an extra attack, and then, once again, you probably just get combo with this on whatever your grade 3 standing is. So, really, really good! It's not the Time Walk. It's just an attack extender. This is the Time Walk. Spoilers, we're running a decent amount of ZTB in the G-Zone. Chrono Heritage, pretty straightforward. After the end of the turn that he does his thing, you take 4 Zodiac Time Beast G-Zone cards, flip him face down, and then you take another turn and ride him back again. This is honestly like one of my favorite strides of all time. It's really cool that you get an extra turn ability that's pretty balanced in the sake that you have to build your G-Zone purely around Zodiac Time Beast to use it. There are ways to turbo it into getting multiple extra turns if you really overextend, but it's just gonna get one turn. I miss Lethal Odium all over again. Or any of the old Time Walking Gear Chronicle cards. We've been doing this for a while. So yeah, straightforward. It's great to have Spirito Chrono Jet in the deck outside of the starter. And yeah, we run a lot of Zodiac Time Beasts, like this one. This is another setup card. This is just flip a Stride face up. Once again, you can combo it with freaking Shleeshma. Check your top 5, bind up to 2 cards from among them, and then he's going to get +2 power for every card in your bind zone. If you got big bind zone, you countercharge 1. This is a pretty good setup card. Both in the fact that you're setting up your bind zone, setting up possibly a Shleeshma for multi-attack, and it's a Zodiac Time Beast. So if you already got Shleeshma face up, you can just flip another ZTB to get ready to accelerate into your big boy Heritage. Deceptively good card. Not a lot of people use them. Same can be said with the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is another basic Zodiac Time Beast, Mega Pulsar Huanglong. This is literally a trial deck card. So his pretty lame effect that no one cares about is Counterblast 1. At the end of a battle he attacks, take a card from your bind zone and either call it or add back to hand. What are we doing in this entire deck? We're binding cards. You got a Seal Trigger in there that you bounce? Okay, that's a free G-Guard for next turn. You got a Liberatas chillin'? Call it. Actually, no, you can't add a Heal Trigger, my bad. You take a Perfect Guard, sure, why not? You bound a Perfect Guard somehow. Fact of the matter is that this lets you cycle your resources back. If you don't have the sauce, you get yourself the sauce. If you need an extra attack, you get yourself an extra attack. And of course, this is Zodiac Time Beast, which, Heritage. Yeah, I'm just going over Zodiacs right now, aren't I? This card is in here purely for its GB3 effect. Chrono Fang Heritage. We got both in the deck. We got a Chrono Fang and we got a Chrono Jet. Real simple GB3, just if number of cards in your bind zone is 5 or more, he gets plus 10k, and 7 or more, he gets a crit, and 9 or more, he gets drive. So you're not always gonna get all your effects because your bind zone is going in and out and in and out and in and out, and you never know what's gonna be in there unless you're just planning it out 5 turns ahead. But I mean, full gas, you're looking at a 25k quad driving double crit, which is scary, especially considering the fact that once you play this, it's gonna be mid-late game and it's probably gonna be a finisher. Solid card, in here because ZTB, and I have one more deck slot. Last Zodiac Time Beast is a G-Guard. This thing's broken! This thing's broken! Okay, so Soul Blast 1, once placed on guard circle, if you have 1 more card in bind zone, it gets +5 shield, and if it's 5 more, it gets +15 shield. So 20k / 35k shield Dece. The first threshold is going to be guarding for your most basic attacks, and the second one will protect you from a decent amount of strides. What's important though, Zodiac Time Beast that relies on your bind zone. Do I need to say anything else? Such a good bird angel. Wish it was like an alt rarity of it because I would love to see these things foiled. Now I guess while we're talking G-Guards, let's talk about the other 2 that we run. This is a perfect guard. I have never once in my life used it, but it's there. Just discard a bunch of cards and becomes a perfect guard. Yay. More important, Super Leru. We run 2 Lerus in this deck now, one in the G-Zone and one in the main deck. Counterblast 1, flip up a G-Guard in your G-Zone. It's going to get +5 shield for each card in your G-Zone face up. This is a scaling card. Early game is like, yo dog, what up? Mid game is like, yo dog, what up? Late game is like, how much am I guarding for even? Plus the fact that it flips any G-Guard face up means that if you need to hit that 1 more card to get your Heritage turn, just flip up a Leishu. Big guard. We did it. Best Skill Fusion. Then the final card that we get to talk about, because I'm not even going to mention the Messiah Stride. I genuinely don't know what it does without looking at it. I don't feel like going on Deck Builder right now to look it up. There'll be a little blurb up here. Give you a second to read it. Yeah, I guess that's pretty good. But the actual card that we're going to talk about, and I have run 2 of, is something that I probably should mention at the very beginning because it feels pretty much like a generic card for Gear Chronicle Stride Zones. And that is History Build Dragon. He has 1 skill that we need to actually read because this isn't a Time Leap deck, so we don't care about the fact that you're powering up your Time Leap cards. And that is basically a Time Leap ability. When he strikes an attack, you're able to choose any number of cards equal to the number of cards face up in your G-Zone and Time Leap them. Time Leap, if you guys didn't know and you haven't watched me like 3 years ago, back when Premium actually existed, is a skill that says that when that unit is bound, you call a card that's equal to that card's grade +1 from your deck. End of turn, send that card back in deck and call the card that was attached to it. So it spins your deck, you're able to get multiple attacks off it chained, and sets up bind zone once again. I mean, temporary sets up bind zone in this case, but shut up, you're just going to Shleesh mode with the grade 3 that you called. Oh no, you lost your target, that's fine, you just chain an effect and put a second card in bind zone. That's good. Once again, this is a scaling card, so like the later in the game you play it, the more cards you are able to hit with your time leap effects. However, just early game, like this flip of Schleishma, you get a grade 2 into a grade 3. That grade 3 is going to go into the Schleishma. That's like 3 attacks generated off of 1 cost. And that's excluding any other thing that you've been doing in that deck. So that is Premium Direful Dolls, Volume 1.0. I kind of want to do a Pale Moon version of it with all the Nightmare Doll support, but I feel like this just hits more. What do you guys think? Am I insane because I haven't played Premium in the longest time and we just cooked this much? Should I just be focusing on Crest Jet, I guess, and play 4 Mazu Gears? How does Premium actually function? Like, genuinely comment down below, let me know just how much I've been screwing up and why this format is insane. As always, if you like what I do here and want to help support me on this channel, make sure to check out my page on TCG Player where I sell TCG Player card game stuff. And I actually have a Cardfight now, so if you don't want to buy any cards, check that out, drop me a tip. All helps go towards the channel so I can afford more gear. Like, I just picked up a new tripod today. Freaking cardboard, of course, to build these decks. You know how it is. Things are businesses. Things cost expensive. So if you want to help support me and make more things for you to see on the here, this money symbol. You can do it by doing that or that. But until next time, I got to assemble it so I can put my normal Direful Doll deck together. It sure do be BCS season, and you know we're representing the girls. So until next time, thanks for watching, and always embrace the Gear Moon Circus. Hashtag Gear Moon Circus, hashtag Gear Chronicle, hashtag.